I'm rolling with FD.
I am rolling with FD.
I'm rolling with FD.
I'm rolling with FD, baby.
We are rolling with FD.
I'm rolling with FD.
We got alphas and bros in the house.
That's right.
Peace out, my brother.
Woo!
I'm rolling with the F to the D.
Learn something new every day when you're rolling with FD.
We are rolling with FD, baby.
I roll with one person, and that's FD.
I'm rolling with FD, baby.
You gotta love it, man.
Hey, Renee, who you rolling with?
Rolling with FD.
Hey, Matt. Rolling with FD.
You don't have to ask. I'm rolling with FD.
My man, C. Bless. Who you rolling with?
I'm rolling with FD.
I'm rolling with FD.
That's how you just rolling, right? That's the whole thing, right? You roll with it.
I'm rolling with FD.
Manny and Jeremy, who you rolling with?
We're rolling with FD. We don't want to get our asses kicked.
My man, Dan, the card man. I appreciate you, dog. You gotta let the people know who you rolling with.
Well, obviously I'm rolling with FD.
I'm rolling with FD, baby.
Jason Cardboard is rolling with FD.
Rolling with FD.
What's up, y'all? What is going on? 6:02 p.m. January 15th, MLK Day. There's a great game going on right now. Looks like Philly is about to get clobbered. Tampa Bay is up 13-0. 13 minutes, 8 seconds left in the second quarter. But beyond all that, I got a great guest here tonight. Someone I wanted to learn more about, talk to. We first met each other in person at the last Burbank Card Show. Kind of linked up. And today, I have Knocka on What's the Play. What's up, bro?
How y'all doing out there?
What's going on?
Good to see you on this MLK Day.
Yes, good to see you. Good to have you here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I just got back home just in time, and I turned on the TV, and I just heard what you mentioned, and I am like, whoo!
Teams got to show up right now. Teams have to show up. Nobody cares about where you've been last year or what your record was in the season. You better show up to that.
Oh, my goodness. And they had already been kind of hinting at, their first struggle, how Philly is, talking about getting rid of Sirianni. Let them lose this one. They really going to be on it.
Yep. Absolutely. Where do I start? So much that I want to know. Let's start with your background. Tell me more about Knocka. Tell me, and also, when you tell me about yourself, tell me about how you got interested in the hobby.
Oh man, well, I'm a big kid, man. I'm a 37-year-old brother who has owned a lifestyle boutique of some sort for the past 10 years here in the Bay Area. And just recently kind of like stepped away from it a little bit. I've been in retail my entire life. I've been able to enjoy running a successful small business for a certain amount of time. And, I just love everything collecting. I really come from a footwear type of a background. Okay. Grew up loving Michael Jordan, of course, Penny Hardaway, Grant Hill, Dominique Wilkins, Sean Kemp, that whole era. And was just raised in a, type of condition where mama wasn't spending all that money on those shoes.
I get it.
Yeah. And so that kind of just drove me into, once I could start earning a little bit of my own chicken, that I then started diving into, the world of collecting, whether it be like toys or, at some point it was clothes, and then it was shoes for a long time, and even sports cards. And so I really was introduced to the hobby through my cousin, man. Shout out to my cousin, Alex Fleming, Flem, who he's 1 year older than me. And my mama would like to say that my aunt inspired her to have me, because we're 1 month, 1 year, and 1 day apart from each other.
Okay.
And so back in the early 90s, I'm talking about like 90, 91, Jordan was just coming off his first championship.
Yes.
And also as well, Marvel and X-Men cards and all these types of things started to hit around 91, 92-ish. And so I would always come over to his house over here in Alameda now, where I live. Okay. In the Bay Area, and was just so amazed about all the cards and the binders and all the different images, and trying to see what type of Jordans that MJ was wearing in certain photos and who was wearing what on the court. And so that's kind of like where my passion for sports cards and just the hobby in general came from. Okay. In the early 90s.
Did you do you play any sports growing up?
Yeah, definitely play sports growing up. Played basketball all the way through high school. Played football, even though I didn't play football as long as I wanted to. But yeah, definitely love football, and definitely played basketball growing up.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: what's your favorite sport? Do you lean more towards basketball? You lean towards football? You lean towards baseball? What do you really get excited about right now?
I love football, and I really get that from my father. I grew up just a few blocks away from Candlestick Park, where the 49ers played for a long time. So, and then growing up as well, the Warriors weren't so good. We still loved them, but we weren't really looking to win any championships back then. So really, yeah, football is where my heart is, where it throbs. And hopefully Niners can do something this year. It's been 29 years since we all experienced a Super Bowl win. So
you got to think in Chicago it's been since 85. So you're doing better than us, bro.
I hear you, man. I hear you, FD.
Most definitely. And what's interesting is that I remember I went to a Candlestick Park and saw the last game at Candlestick.
Oh,
49ers versus the Bears that year. And I was just telling some people the other day, we leave our seats at the third quarter, at the end of the third. I think I'm getting ahead of something. Let me try to get at the stadium. And we were still in the parking lot at the end of the game.
Oh man!
Go anywhere, bro.
I heard that.
Nowhere.
Yeah, nowhere, man. That's totally terrible with the traffic logistics.
I haven't been to Levi. Have you been to Levi Stadium yet?
I've been to Levi. Been to Levi a couple times. It took it some years for Levi to really start to pick the spirit.
I could see that. It's far away.
It's far away, and a lot of people from the city were really mad that they couldn't get anything done near the city. Mm-hmm. So you had a lot of Candlestick OGs and fans that spend their hard-earned that really weren't trying to deal with going out there. And I remember there was with all the new stadiums and how they do it now, the seat licensing and the tickets, it was just so expensive. It's such a culture shock for a lot of people that they didn't go for a while. But
yes,
Levi's okay now. We got it back rocking.
What let me ask you this. I know you break cards.
Yeah.
Tell people about what you break.
Okay.
How often you break, and what made you start breaking?
So I do break cards, and it's interesting because I typically break almost every single day. And I recently just came back from a break for about 2.5 months or so. And I've been breaking since 2020. Kind of started a little bit before the pandemic, but I'll get into that story. I just came back really, and I break WWE. I break football. I break basketball. In the UFC, I don't break baseball too much. It is something that I wish I dabble into a little bit more, but then it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird to say that, if I were to carry baseball, I might not be sought out as much as maybe some other people out there, regardless of my knowledge of the sport as well. So,
why do you think that is?
I could say some of it. I could say is like my breaking style.
Okay.
I'm really animated.
Okay.
I'm not somebody who necessarily just skip over every single card. You see a lot of breakers just peel them off, just and get to the hit. I like to have fun with the names. Try attempt to say all the names. So some of it could be my process.
Okay.
Some of it could also be, just because I am one of the very few brothers out there that do happen to break. There's a little bit of hesitancy there for, there to be some support on that side. And it is what it is,
Well, Knocka, just so you know now, when you on What's to Play, we talk about everything.
Let's do it.
Yeah, we get on it.
Oh yeah.
And so you break almost every day.
Almost every day.
How do you get the product? How do you get the cases and
oh man. Whew. Well, it's been quite the expedition. To be honest, I mean, all the way back to 2020 when everybody's locked up in the house, and I really got into it. This leans back onto like how I got into it, where one of my friends in 2020, like very early, like January, February, right around the time Don Russ was coming out. So we didn't know anything about COVID or anything just yet. And he was like, "Oh, Zion, Ja, they're coming back, man. Let's open some cards." I'm like, "Cards? Like, really? Let's do." And it just, when he said that, I was just like, "Man, I'm collecting everything at that time." I was, I have a massive collection of like starting lineups I had started collecting like back in like 2017, 2018. So I was already, blending, both my passions for, toys and sports cars at the same time. So when he said that, I was just like, let's do it. So I started opening cards back then, just with him on live and just opening cards the way that I do for other people now, just being like really excited and animated about what I'm doing. And so back then, in terms of like sourcing and getting my product, how it started was driving to every single place that we possibly could go in the Bay Area, which is a 50-mile radius, so whether it was a Target, whether it was a sports card shop, it didn't matter where, because shortly after that, when COVID did hit, it wasn't necessarily about having, it wasn't necessarily even about the prices. People just wanted to open up cards.
Sure.
So it was just like, if you could find supply or wax, you probably would have a good chance of not only being able to open up some stuff for yourself, but what essentially happened was people saw me break it or opening cards for myself, and a few of the guys that still rip with me till this day, they were like, "Well, why don't you open cards for us?" And I'm like, what do y'all mean open cards for y'all? Like, I didn't really even know what breaking was at that point.
Yeah, I get it.
I'd seen videos of people doing stuff like online before, on YouTube, but then that's when everything changed. So Sourcing got a lot harder.
Mm-hmm.
I used to order a lot of wax from the big boys, you know, the Blowouts of the world, and the Dave and Adams of the world, Steel Cities, and then it became, you know, that the prices were so crazy. I was trying to find like an actual distributor or somebody who was a little bit closer to the source to get a better price, so that I could make some money. And so out here, there's a couple of distributors out here, GTS and another distributor. And throughout the years, fortunately, I was able to build really good relationships with a couple of hobby shops.
Okay.
So that's how I get my product. And as well as a group of folks who were selling wholesale. I think they had a partnership with one of the distributors or whatever, and they ended up getting their own thing going. So that's how I source now, but I've done absolutely everything to get product that you can imagine.
I imagine that process is not easy at all. So I wanted to get your viewpoint on how that's done, the logistics of it, and the sourcing part. I think a lot of people get excited about breaking, but then they got to realize, well, how am I going to break?
Yeah. Yeah.
So let me ask you. So you break. I want to ask you some questions.
Yeah. All good.
Do you think anybody in the hobby, and this is always a hot question, is getting product that they know has big hits in it?
Oh, yeah, that's a spicy one, and I see where you're going with that. You know what? I just think that now people have to believe what they see. Now, if we were to tell you that somebody, because I know that there are a couple of people on the planet that have hit, you know, the lottery 2 times before. But if you were to say that that same person actually hit the lottery 6 or 7 times in a lifetime, knowing that they have a terrible habit of buying tickets almost every single day, like my grandmother used to, God bless her soul.
Yep.
Then you start to raise the people's eyebrow. We know that the hobby is, for as popular as it is now and how much it's grown over the past few years or so, it's probably doubled or tripled. That means that odds probably have shifted away from being in the favor of any given particular person to strike it hot time and time and time and time and time and time again. So I think people just gotta use their brains without, you know,
understood.
You know, without me, you know, going that route, because you know, hey, those people, you know, some of them, they do good business and you know, so on and so forth. But is it an even playing field? You know, I would probably say no.
Understood. What's the biggest card that you've pulled? That you I'll talk about some of your favorites. I guess I shouldn't say biggest because I always try not to focus on just the dollar amounts. What are some of the most memorable cards that you have pulled?
Well, there's one that people that know me know of because I pulled it live back in 2020. I pulled a Prism Gold RPA Justin Herbert to 10 out of a Prism hobby box for myself after I broke for some people. That was probably maybe 2 months into like breaking for people, you know. Like I said, I used to always open up stuff for myself anyway. So sometimes I'd break for people and then I would finish up with like ripping something for myself once it got slow. And I just lost it. Like I was
gonna ask you, how did that feel?
I was crying like a baby, man. I was crying like a baby. I'm not even gonna lie to you, FD. Oh man,
I can imagine.
it felt great. And you know, I actually held on to the card for some time, maybe a little bit longer than I should have, but I still made out okay with it.
Okay.
You know, that's one of them. You know, I pulled a 1-on-1 Kareem Abdul-Jabbar out of Immaculate for a good friend. That was pretty awesome. I pulled, before we knew he was going to be who he is, a 1-on-1 super of Justin Jefferson out of Optic Contenders.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Yeah, so I pulled some pretty nice cards, some cards that I don't even remember that people sometimes will show me, like, hey, Knocka, you pulled this. And I'd be like, what? Like, when was this? So I have fun. You know, it's more so like the feeling that I get when even pulling for other people is just amazing. You know, I'm one of those that love it when other people are happy.
Understood.
You know,
Understood.
I might be going through a whole bunch of turmoil, but if I get on there and I pull somebody a banger, whoo, it's a great time. So
Understood.
Yeah.
What are you thinking of these NFL playoffs? We just talked about the Eagles getting shocked right now. What do you think? What do you think of what you've seen this weekend so far?
Well, I'm a Niner fan, so the Cowboys, holy moly. It's very, very interesting what's going on. You know, the Lions' first playoff win since 1991.
Yeah, at home, Ford Field. And I used to live in Detroit, and I used to go to Ford Field a lot. And at that time, averaged two almost horrible teams. So,
I mean, so you know, that's incredible. We got the Eagles about to lose to the Buccaneers.
Like they're about to lose. AJ Brown not being there. This offense looks different.
It's let's just say things are a little bit wishy-washy this year, and I'm just hoping my Niners can stay the course and really be focused, because Green Bay looks good, and
they do.
The Niners don't focus on solidifying the back end of that defense and putting pressure on Love to not be on his spot. It's going to be a long day. And they have some of the best pass blocking in the entire National Football League.
Yes, they do.
So,
do you think Purdy is that dude?
Oh man, FD. Hey, I'm glad you brought this up. Because I know you was being hard on my guy early, man.
Yeah,
you was being hard.
Oh yeah. I still don't know who he is. I'm still cleaning my glasses.
Oh, come on, man.
This
is 2 years in. This man is amazing. Let me just tell you this. Purdy's that guy.
Okay.
He really is. You know, I know everybody was waiting on the Ravens game. They're waiting to go, aha, you know, but that was no aha game. And you know, quarterbacks are going to make mistakes. You know, that's what they do. But it's about how many games and how many games can you string together before you evidently do have those big mistakes. And he's amazing, man. The ability to stretch the ball, get the ball down the field that we have not experienced in a long time. I mean, anytime Jimmy Garoppolo stood and threw a ball that may have been out of the view of the camera for any moment in time, we were anticipating a possible interception.
Yeah.
So, you know, as much as I love Jimmy G, this boy is incredible. The anticipation to make the throws in stride. He's a true threat. And boy, did the Niners ever get ever so lucky. I mean, I haven't seen anything like this. The only other thing that's like it that's happened in my lifetime would be maybe Kurt Warner. And you know, Kurt's won it already, so but yeah, man, it's absolutely incredible. I can't wait to see how he does this year.
Yeah, you know, he came out and he threw 4 interceptions. They're going to try to bring any team that he plays going to try to bring some heat on him. It all depends on how he responds to that. Yeah. But I will say he threw 4 interceptions and the game was not crazy out of reach.
Yeah.
But, you know, so we'll see. But I think the 49ers know that whoever they're playing against in the playoffs are going to try to confuse him. That's what the Ravens did by showing and delivering something else.
Mm-hmm.
But the ball was snapped. So we'll see what he does. I wish him the best. I still don't know who Purdy is. Though. I got to look at these games next week. Find out who he is. But for a guy, seriously, to go from that low in the draft to have done what he's done, he's already won. He solidified himself much more money in his contract the next time he signs than what he's making right now, which I think is almost league minimum. So I'm happy for him. But I always say this. To me, the quarterback position is the one that gets the most scrutiny, and it's the hardest position to probably play in professional sports.
True.
And if you run the numbers, there's a very small percentage of people who will ever succeed at that position.
Yep.
He's done more than some people that's on the field right now.
Oh yeah,
that's playing.
He's done more than a lot of people that the hobby's been chasing over these past couple of years.
But think about it though, Knocka. Isn't it interesting that a lot of times it works out that way?
Yeah.
We talk about LeBron coming out, he's the king, and this and the other. Then the guy Steph Curry pops up.
Yeah.
We talk about Luka coming out. Luka's the bomb, you know. A guy named Shai Gilgeous-Alexander pops up. It just works out like that, and it's going to continue to work out like that.
It's incredible.
Figured out, but we don't really have it figured out until they go play the game.
It's incredible that you pointed out like that, and you're even just keeping it to recent years, because we know if we go further down the line and we look at certain drafts, whether it be in the NFL or the NBA, you'll see who the guy was supposed to be, and then who was really that boy from that year. And so, wow, that's pretty interesting way to look at it. Because I the whole time when people were hunting for, you know, Kenny Pickett last year, and I was just like, he is not the guy.
Did you watch him play in college? And I actually watch people now. I'll ask them, did you watch him play in college? Oh no, I haven't seen. Okay, I guess not the guy. That guy's not average at best.
He's not the guy.
Mitch Trubisky, average at best. Zach Wilson, average at best. On the best day, he's average. You can even name more. Average at best.
That's so true.
I even say Danny Dimes. I don't even know where the nickname came from.
Man.
When I look at Matt Ryan and they say Matty Ice, I didn't see any ice. Where did it come from?
Right.
I don't know. So it's interesting. It's interesting how things go. But the game, the basketball court, the football field,
even baseball.
Yeah.
Baseball is often, people are very, very wrong about, you know, who ends up becoming that star talent, you know. So.
Let me ask you a question about the hobby. So, you know, we've had 2 different cards come out. We had the LeBron card come out with his son Bronny. People are super excited about that card. People get really excited. We had the Brady card come out with him in the Expos jersey. He got drafted by the Expos, so people don't have that background. And then he chose to go play football, but he was originally drafted also by the Expos.
Yeah. What
are your thoughts on both cards? And also knowing, I think there's some information that has come out that the Brady card is a different player. Brady's face was photoshopped on it. I think that's what I've heard.
Wow.
What do you think about both cards?
You know, it's the hype machine. Fanatics knows what they're doing.
Yeah, they do. Great marketing.
Yeah, exactly. The hype machine. And, you know, I don't want to say we've Yeah, we've always kind of like, I guess, had that in the hobby. You've always had chase cards, you know, even though they weren't like advertised and put in front of your face, like, bam, this is exactly what we're going after. You know, there's for any big product, there's always kind of sort of been like, oh yeah, this is the card that we're all looking for. So besides them being a hype machine, it's not anything. I mean, the Brady card is ultimately super cool. I love the concept.
It is. Yeah.
What I don't like, what I wouldn't like, is if that is true that Brady was photoshopped on another player, because this AI stuff, we getting too out of hand with it already, and they just getting started. But the concept and the execution of the Brady card, that whole thing, beautiful, awesome. The father and son combination, I don't want to. I have nothing bad to say about it, but then it becomes, I don't know. Can it ever? What are we going? What are we really going after here? Is it just a LeBron auto? Because we don't even know if Bronny's going to make it to the league.
Speak on it.
No, for real. Like, he's not even the best player. Yeah, he's not close. That's what I'm saying. Like, for anybody who really knows or is around, you know, he's getting better, but is he even going to be drafted, you know, is an issue. So, you know, I think if people are willing to accept that and they're just buying into it and chasing it, because it's a very cool concept to have a father-son, you know, type of a thing going on there, then yeah, you know, that's great. But in terms of any type of future dreams or aspirations that Bronny's going to be the second coming, it's highly unlikely. And we see it repeat in sports, like time and time again. Yeah. You know, when you have somebody who is that dominant, you know, and it's just like become one of the greatest of all time, you know, second to Jordan, you know, and Kobe maybe. He probably won't rise to the occasion, unfortunately. And we shouldn't expect him to.
I agree with that's all I was about to say. We should not put that pressure on our young people to have to do that. I think that he has, again, we talked about Purdy. Bronny James has accomplished a lot already.
Oh yeah.
So let's give him his
yeah. Let's say yeah. I mean, he's gonna be. I haven't seen any I haven't seen any USC this year. Have you been watching?
He's coming off the bench.
Okay. Okay.
I think the guy could be a great. I keep saying this. I think he could be a great spot up shooter. Mm-hmm. I think you saw Lonzo Ball going, and how he was starting to play with the Bulls before he got hurt. Mm-hmm. I think that's who Bronny James could be, and I think he could. I think he could have a long career doing that.
Okay.
I think he can make it. So if he knows who he is and accepts who he is, and he works on that, I think he's going to be all right. If he has the drive, yeah, because he's going to have all the resources, right? All the resources. But it's about that drive, I think, and that's what so much changes about what I was talking about earlier. You know, a lot of these guys, you know, look at Bronny's, you know, coming up. You know, a lot of these guys had to fight. They were fighting to get up out of, you know, crazy situations, right? So, you know, do they have the drive to like, you know, like I really want this. Like, I think that's where it comes in. And if he does, why can't he be the second coming to Lonzo Ball? I think we'll take that as long as you stay healthy. We'll take that would be amazing. He'd be a phenomenal player to me if he can manifest that.
That would be amazing.
That'd be great.
So what's up, FD? You seem like you don't like Luka.
Oh, that's a great question. I want you to hit me, Knocka, because you know the deal. We've talked sports, so I know you know. So I wouldn't say I don't like Luka. I do not get caught up on the hype train. When the hype train goes by, it just keeps going by. I don't jump on that thing. I see very positive things in Luka. He does great things as a basketball player. I see other things that he does. He's not winning the championship anytime soon, unless he gets other talent on his team and he learns how to play with those people. Holding the ball, not going to get it done. You come out and you score. I said the same thing about Ja. If you come out and you score 60, 50, looks good for SportsCenter. It gets people hyped. Man, did you see that? It gets people hyped up. But Knocka, I'm texting you. Gets us hyped up. But it ain't winning anything. It's like when the Miami Dolphins came out and scored 70 points against Denver. They played worse after that as a team than they did before that. It feels good, but that's not winning material right there. So Luka is the kind of player, to me, I think the NBA needs. He's good marketing. He scores. This is a scoring league. This is not a defensive league. This is not the league that we saw.
No.
Not at all.
These boys is putting up 120 points a night.
Last night, Sacramento lost to Milwaukee 145, I think, to 143. Not a shred of defense was played in that game. Man. We like the long ball. We want to see the home run. As an average fan, you want to see big time scoring in football, basketball, whatever. Luka fits into that real well. But when it comes down to playing in a competitive sport with teammates, distributing the ball, making other people better, and not holding the ball down to when you have a few seconds left on the shot clock, that's really not a strong suit. Also, I think the biggest thing about Luka to me, come in shape. Start the season in shape. If you go back and watch Luka when he was a rookie, he looks like a totally different person right now.
I think he tried to do that this year, Luka. But that hasn't been something that he's been doing until now. So, I think Luka could possibly win a championship, but I get where you're coming from. Not anytime soon. It really doesn't feel like it. I don't know what's going on in Dallas. You know what? Now the Warriors we're getting ready to see them, and we did just lose to the Memphis Grizzlies.
Yeah, I watched some of that game before we got on. It looked pathetic. Draymond was back tonight, but he's not in playing shape yet. But just the way the ball was being moved around and Steph got stripped. I mean, there's a few things.
A couple times.
Like, what is going on right now?
I am floored almost by what I just saw. That's as a matter of fact, that's where I came from. I was watching the game at my cousin's house, and by far,
and they lost. There were two guys on that team, on Memphis team, going off. One guy's a rookie.
Yes.
The other guys, I mean, he's a decent player, but he's not. These guys are hitting.
They had no Ja, no Desmond Bain,
none of that.
No Marcus Smart. And here we are losing by 12, and now we got to go and see the Mavericks very soon.
Yes. So Knocka, now that we talk about Golden State, what can they do between this year and next year to improve this roster? There's been some talk of Lloyd marketing. There's been some talk of Pascal Siakam. Who are people going to give up? Somebody said that Wiggins can go. It wouldn't surprise me if Jonathan Kuminga can also go, because him and Kerr are like this. The question is also, Knocka, how much longer is Kerr going to coach? I don't see him coming back next year.
I think Bob got up out of there. Perfect timing, man.
Yeah. He threw peace, hit the door.
And you could tell, Bob's a real sincere dude. He didn't want to have to be there for this. And you know what? FD, unfortunately, there's no break glass in case of emergency. There's none of that, because for one, you don't want to give up Kuminga. What is this, 20 games straight, double digits, young body. All he needs to really put some emphasis into is a jump shot and maybe some more tenacity on defense. You can't get rid of a Jordan Poole, then say we're going to get rid of a Jonathan Kuminga, and then probably get rid of a Moses Moody. What did we just waste all of this time for?
But Knocka, this makes me think: who drafted those people? Did Steve Kerr have a hand in that? Because he looks like he doesn't want to play Moody. He wants to stay with his vets. He doesn't want to play Moody. He doesn't really want to play Kuminga. Last night, he took him out of a game with 5 or 6 minutes left and then brought him back in the game at the end of the game just so nobody could say he wasn't in the game at the end of the fourth quarter. He got rid of James Wiseman. He had no interest in playing a big man as an offensive threat. He even hired a coach to coach a big man, but he didn't have anything to do with him. I don't ever remember watching the game and seeing him and Wiseman conversing.
Right.
Wiseman will come in the game. Wiseman will go out the game. Wiseman will sit down. Curry, he walked right past Curry. Curry looked at the game.
It's a lot of dysfunction. And it's been spoken about since last year about, him not wanting to play the young guys. So let's just say it could get ugly, and it could get ugly very fast because you see the discomfort on Steph's face after each and every single loss now. Whereas before it wasn't like that. It was just, we'll get the next one. We'll get it back on the next one. Right now, it looks like every single loss is just like a thorn in the side. And so honestly, who in their right mind? Okay. And I'm talking about Utah, one of the hottest teams in the league right now, right? Gonna want to give up Lauri Markkanen. Like, I what?
You bring up a great point.
Okay, and then let's talk about Spicy P. Spicy P, the Warriors been talking about getting him for like the past 3 to 5 years, something like that.
They have.
Are we trying to get older or are we trying to get younger? So there is no like quick big band-aid, stitch them up. And I honestly, I'm a diehard Warriors fan, okay? But I've gotten to the point where I have to be real, not only with myself, but with fellow Warrior fans, because we're holding them up to championship expectations.
Oh, they're not that.
And no, we're not. But the thing about it is, because we've been in dynasty mode so long, a lot of our fans are now delirious. They're in the delirious phase and they can't see what's happening here.
Yeah.
This Draymond issue is also massive. They misplayed their hand with how they dealt with the Draymond and Jordan Poole issue, unfortunately. As much as I love Dre, I'm sorry. They should have made a decision at that point or after the season that they were going to get younger. They were going to make the necessary moves, clear off whatever they needed to on the books, but you can't get rid of 18 to 20 points a night.
Well, think about this, though. You take it all the way back. When the Draymond Kevin Durant thing went down.
Oh.
Kevin Durant stated that he felt like Bob Myers and Steve Kerr and most of the organization sided with Draymond. He wanted Draymond to give an apology in front of the team about his actions and his words. And Steve Kerr said, we're not making him do that. It's not happening. Bro.
And honestly, that was the major fumble. Because I'm sorry, but people, for all of the noise we always hear, oh, the Warriors, we can't win without Draymond. Be quiet. If we would have let go of Dre, kept KD, and went and got what's the young Brandon Clark or somebody else who can play some good defense and provide a little bit of offense, you don't think the Warriors would have been competing for championships right now? That's it. That's the most idiotic and absurd thing I've heard for years. The Warriors can't win without Draymond. Warriors can't. There was a time, maybe very early on, after the 2015 year, that championship, where, we couldn't have won without Draymond, okay? But them years have been gone. And so the Warriors have fumbled it really bad. I think we're heading back to, like I was telling people, we heading back to it's a great timeout. They better make them basketball. They better make tickets to the game a whole lot cheaper so I can take my son a whole lot more. Because I'll go see them whether they bad or they good anyway. But right now, for what they want and the product they're putting on the floor.
Do you think too much respect has been given to Klay Thompson and Draymond Green?
Ooh, see, with Klay, with Dre, I'm gonna say yes. Because I've been done with Dre and all the stuff.
You don't like the
I'm
drop
sorry.
kicking and headlocks and swinging of the hands and
we didn't even talk about the championship that we probably. So it's just it's too much. It's like the cat that got 9 lives times 9. Okay, that's who we talking about.
Yeah,
you know. So in terms of Klay, though, man, let me say this about Klay. I think if we were going to keep any of the running mates to go alongside Steph, it should have been Klay. It should have been Klay, Steph, boom. I'm sorry. The rest of the pieces got to go. We got to figure out restructuring because for all the struggles that Klay has had and coming off of an injury, shooting is one of those things that is priceless in the league, as well as somebody who's already going to run your system the way that you want it to be run. Because you can shoot, but are you coming off the screen the way that we like it? Are you used to knowing how to run this backdoor cut that we like it? No, you're not. Okay. And if you're slowing down, we can go ahead and sit you down. Mm-hmm. And you can come up off the bench and be another scorer. He still has value. Where's the value with Dre when he's lost his voice in the locker room? There's no value there.
Well, I always wondered, okay, if you're Moody, because I watched the tape many times, when Draymond strikes Jordan Poole, there's no veteran in that scene. Over and over again. You don't see Steph. It was like Steph wasn't at practice. You don't see Klay. I don't even think I saw Wiggins. I saw Kuminga and some young guys. And so what did those young guys think? Wiseman, Kuminga, Moody, when this happened. What were they thinking? And what stories do they have that we may never know about?
That we may never know about.
20 years from now.
I'm telling you. That's why the guy who's got 9 times 9, he is.
Because I've seen him come to Wise on the court and try to coach Wise. Hey man, get over here. What you doing, man? You gotta do that.
Right.
And then you see Wise.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
It's going through his mind while he's looking.
They can see through that, and now. And that's what sticks out about the Warriors culture now. The whole culture thing, they've been talking about the whole culture thing over the past couple of years. The Warriors don't got no culture right now. They don't.
Well, I thought it was interesting too. Okay, Wise is playing Golden State. Now, he's a guy. He's young. He's trying to make his way. He's not an all-star. He hasn't done anything yet. Not one thing. But they asked him in a practice interview, what was it like playing the Warriors after you've been there? Now you're in Detroit. And his first statement was, well, just a jersey.
Thank you. So culture that.
That hit me. Like, I don't know what other people heard. Just a jersey. You think, I don't know, bro. You think somebody playing with Jordan or Magic Johnson back in the day would say? It must mean that these cats know something. They got to know something.
Or even the Patriots or somebody like that, the way they talk about the Patriots.
I ain't with the Bengals, it was the Patriots. I mean, you're going back to play the Patriots? Yeah, it's just a jersey.
Right? Yeah, so that speaks to it. It's tough because all that stuff comes to the light in the end. So all the stuff they were getting by on earlier is not working. Kerr, just go out there and run whatever y'all want to run. Not working. Okay. Draymond, you go over there and punk all the young rookies and make sure those young whippersnappers are doing exactly what they're supposed. That's not working no more. Okay, so it's they have totally strayed away from whatever that culture was. It's no longer there, and they started. There were, Kerr's been losing his grip on this team.
Oh yeah.
Over a while, Draymond once again cursing him out on the side, Kerr saying being heard, he's done with it, he's sick of it, it's all this stuff. It just builds up, it builds up, it builds up. And now that the team is a bit older and you can't just rely on the athleticism and the youth and the skill, you need that culture.
Mm-hmm.
That's what kept the Spurs winning. Guess what? They had a real winning culture. And you wasn't coming in here talking to Popovich, doing this and doing that. There was standards.
In practice, talking and jaw jacking. You think there could ever be a situation where Steph Curry says, I want to be moved?
Oh, my goodness. And the crazy thing is, a few weeks ago, I had this thought when I was driving home from picking up my son from school or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, nah. And then the thought came up in my mind just a few days ago again when they announced that everybody except for Steph is on the chopping block. And I thought about it again and I said, if they don't do exactly what Steph wants them to do,
mm-hmm. Yep,
which has never been the situation before.
Uh-huh.
If they don't do exactly what Steph wants done, he's definitely going to be out of there.
I think so. Something tells me, I've run this by some people and they're like, oh no, man. He looks very frustrated all the time. He's looking around at people. Today he got stripped. He looked at a guy like, yeah, were you setting the screen? Or what were you doing? But he didn't say anything. The other day he was kicking chairs. This is all actions that if you've ever watched Stephen Wardell Curry, you have never seen.
And it's
I see him and Kurt. I don't feel like that. I don't see them talking during games like I used to see. But we'll see.
Yeah, and I would hate. Oh, I would if that happened. Oh man, so many hearts would be broken.
He's not going to let championships slide through his fingers.
See, and that's the thing. He shouldn't. He shouldn't. I as much as I would want him to be a lifer here, how could you, man? You talking about a legendary, once in a lifetime player that we've all been fortunate enough to witness, and he's still at the top of his game. And you're talking about you get him a little bit of help right now.
Like teams that if he went to,
oh my goodness, like you just think about it, and you're just like, man, Steph really doesn't. He's never needed a ton of help. He's had when Clay was at the top of his game. Boom, that was an awesome tandem. When he had Durant as well, that was overkill. But Steph has always only needed like, okay, I'll go off for 30 a night, but I need somebody who's going to be rebounding, and I might need a couple of other scorers over there. Other than that, but don't let Pat Riley.
I've been there a few teams. But if Steph Curry got in that jersey, they're going straight to the finals.
Don't let Godfather Pat pick up that phone. I'm telling you, something like that, because he will put winners around Steph.
He will,
and he'll get rid of everybody else that don't make sense.
And gritty people who also are going to be on that squad to go die for that ball, do certain things. Play Miami Heat basketball. So since we're talking about Miami Heat, Dwayne Wade had his jersey retired. Pat Riley makes it an all-out effort to come on that court, grab the microphone, and tell Dwayne Wade, we're going to get an 8-foot statue of you made outside, put it outside. And you are the greatest Miami Heat player of all time. What do you think of that?
I
Because
mean,
you know who he's talking to, right?
who is he talking to?
LBJ. The same LBJ that walked in his office and said, "Fire Stone." He said, "Go get your ass out of this office." Same LBJ that never talks about Miami until he says, "I didn't need to go there to be great."
I like where you're going here, man. I do, because that's hilarious. Man, you know what? That's the one thing about LeBron's career, though. You know, like, I think for all the things that he has done and accomplished in the NBA, he's got very few things that people will look at and say, huh. And that's definitely one of them. You know, if he was going to make that decision to leave, which he did, you know, and the way that he did it, like, you know, I think it's the way that he did it as well. You know, I can remember it was like it was like somebody broke free from like prison or something, and like you had all the helicopters out, and it was just like, what's going on outside? Like everybody, like, and then to make it that big of a thing, and to brag about how great it was going to be, and what is
4 or 5.
it just blew things out of proportion, and it's also just made, you know, his trips to back to Cleveland and then to LA and here and there, you know, now you just have people say, I'm a LeBron fan now, you know. So but that's funny that Pat still has that that Pat would say something like that.
Oh yeah, man, came out shocked.
I mean, but he's
when he told Dwayne Wade about the statue.
But he's not wrong though, FD, though. Like, Dwayne Wade is definitely the greatest Miami Heat of all time.
He's not wrong. Who had a whole career there? He's not wrong. But he made sure he wanted to say that loud and clear.
Oh yeah, LeBron, man. He's something else.
Now he's about to get Darvin Ham fired. He's probably somewhere right now talking to some people. But when is this dude getting up out of here? When last year they were boys. Man, we gotta get Westbrook out of here. They were both talking. Yeah, let's get Westbrook.
Any sign of adversity.
Gotta go. You gotta flip it up. Gotta flip it.
Yeah, that's the LeBron way.
So let's talk point guards. I know I want to get your opinion. I ask people all the time, who's the best point guard of all time? Is it Steph Curry? Is it Magic Johnson? Is it point guard X? Who do you think it is? And why? Knocka.
Jeez Louise. Best point guard of all time.
We know the point guard position has changed. We got traditional point guard play, which probably ended with Chris Paul. Probably the last person playing a point like that. And then you got modern day point guard play where we score, then assist, then win games.
Right. Ooh, that's a very tough one. Best point guard of all time.
Best to ever lace him up.
You know what? See, it's funny that you say Steph, because people will say Steph's not a point guard. You know, so it's kind of like hard to throw him in there. You always look at him as a combo guard, right? Like because he's so lethal scoring the basketball. You don't really look at him as a distributor of the basketball, which essentially is what I think a point guard should be ultimately great at. So, you know, if we're going to talk about the greatest distributor of the basketball of all time, you hear many people say Magic Johnson, but I didn't see too much of Magic play. So I'll be real with you. Like, I know a lot of people love Magic Johnson, and he holds a lot of records and things of that nature, but I didn't see him. I'm 37, so I'm gonna go to the 90s with it. Okay. It would be controversial for me to say John Stockton.
No, it wouldn't be. He's NBA in assists. No, it wouldn't be.
Yeah. Honestly, I think, but honestly, I probably would have to say John Stockton was probably one of the greatest point guards that I ever seen play.
I respect it.
Honestly, it not the flashiest. I didn't say the flashiest. No, I didn't say my favorite either. I didn't say my favorite either.
Right. That's right.
So I'm saying best point guard, probably, because I could see so many people in today's game having the most wide open threes of all time if they had John Stockton running the point. I'm telling you,
especially in the
because
foreign league, he'll hook you up.
thank you. So I think John Stockton's probably the greatest all time. Now, like some of my favorites growing up, though, you know, Gary Payton for sure. Gary, like I said, Gary Payton, Seattle Supersonics. You want to talk about one of the most awesome distributors of the basketball? Definitely Gary Payton. Jason Kidd, who's from right around the corner from where I'm at. Definitely awesome point guard growing up. Tim Hardaway. Yeah, so definitely a ton of awesome. I think the 90s probably had some of the greatest point guards of all time, like when you just think about it, because they were like the last ones that really distributed the ball on a consistent basis and had the ability to score from mid-range if given the opportunity. So
I respect it. I like it a lot. So tell me about what car shows you go to. And what are some of the next ones you're going to?
I think card shows that I go to, I don't go to every card show per se, you know what I'm saying, or even the most of them that are out here. I think one that's coming up that I am going to is probably going to be Fairfield Card Show out here in the Bay Area. I think that's going to be towards the end of this month. The San Francisco Card Show, which is an event that just started like a few years ago. That's been pretty good past few times. I've gone to Burbank a few times. Really love that show. That's where I met you at.
Yep.
So, back in the day, the card shows were just the guys in the middle of the mall every time that the toy shows come through for me. So I don't, a lot of times I'm like an introvert extrovert. So I'm a hybrid of some sorts. I like to go to the big shows sometimes. I'm really a people person. I really go to the shows for the people. More so than the cards at times. I love cards, don't get it wrong. And I'm always looking to add something, when I can. But I think it's the relationships for me more so first.
I can agree with that.
Then it is the cards, in those moments that, we get to share talking about our favorite players or why somebody's theory on why LeBron James is the greatest is the most terrible thought of all time, in my opinion.
I feel like LeBron fans are really LeBron fans. You could say whatever.
They don't care. Won't shake them. No. Yeah, so I think that's more so, the reasons why I go to the car shows, and sometimes it's cool to make a sale or two or three. I contemplated about getting a table for the next Burbank show, but
I was gonna ask you, are you coming down?
Yeah, you know what? I've been thinking about it. I think it's in February. Yeah, middle of February.
Yeah, so we got the Super Bowl.
Yes, my lady's birthday is in early February, so I don't know if I could string something else together with that, or even if I can't, I'm gonna try my best to find a way to get out there.
Because
it was fun last time, man. Had a whole lot of fun at the new venue. Anaheim Convention.
Well, this
is a
last
great
time it was
place
in
to have.
Anaheim. This time
Where's it going to be this time?
Ontario, California.
Okay.
And then the next time in August is going to be back in Anaheim.
Okay. All right. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Slower part of the year, so smaller venue.
Yeah, and I think they want to move it around so geographically it's closer at some point during the year to other people in LA.
Okay.
You know, but they try to put it by airports as well, so you can fly right into Ontario. There's an airport there. Pretty good.
Yeah. And I remember I hopped on that airplane so quick after the show.
Yeah,
That was
you're
pretty
out.
cool.
But you'll be back home in no time.
Yeah.
Chet and Wemby.
Oh wow.
Who's the better player to you? Who's going to win MVP? Oh, excuse me, not MVP. Excuse me. Who's going to win Rookie of the Year?
Jeez Louise.
You know, I throw these curveballs at you.
I think right now the better player is Chet. He's a little bit, but I think he kind of like, I don't know how I can say, like fits his body a little bit more better. I don't know how to say that. I think he's got a little bit more coordination than Wemby a little bit. Let's just put it that way. Wemby's awesome. If he can continue to get better, this is going to be a very interesting conversation in the future.
I agree.
Chet's team is also way better.
I agree.
So
it's a Shea effect.
It's a Shea effect.
Who's playing with Shea and who's not?
It's way easier to look better when you got him on your team, man. I'm telling you, because they play with a whole different type of pizzazz out there too. And OKC's always had a great crowd.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing about it too. Like that's one of the things the Warriors about to go through right now. You moved from Oracle. I understand the reasons why, but they're also going to lose a bit of that pizzazz that was constant electricity, no matter whether the Warriors were bad or good. Oracle was always like that. OKC's got a spot that's kind of like that. It doesn't matter whether they have, it doesn't matter whether they're like middle of the mall team, bad team, or whatever. They're like the only show in town, and they got great culture over there. So right now, I got to go with Chet, man. He's got tools that can move all across the floor. And he's also on a team that's going to be very competitive.
I agree.
So
and I believe Wemby sprained his ankle.
Mm-hmm.
What, 2 weeks ago or so? Since that sprained ankle, he plays every other night.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's going to add up to he's not going to win the Rookie of the Year, and Chet will win. But we all know that you can still ball out and not win Rookie of the Year. Steph didn't win Rookie of the Year.
True, very true. Very true.
Kobe didn't win Rookie of the Year.
Nope.
So you can still ball out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I agree with you. I think Chet is the more player ready right now to take that to another level, especially in key games, than Wemby. And Wemby has less around him. So your eyes draw to him. I've watched OKC, and Chet's picking up some points throughout the game that nobody's really paying attention to. The other night, the team left him wide open at the three. Just nobody around.
Yeah.
And he just stroked that thing. So
Wemby not getting them looks.
No. It's gonna be contested. It'd be the 6'3" guy. Just hands up, trying to get at him.
With the Spurs, that's your game plan is to just go after Wemby. With OKC, you better have a way more elaborate plan. Just trying to stop Chet. So
totally agree. So if people want to join your card breaks, how do they do that?
I'm on Instagram. I'm kind of spontaneous off the top rope with it, but typically you can find me on Instagram about 8:30 to 9 o'clock West Coast time. That's typically when I start. And so far since I've been back, I've been breaking every single night except for, I don't think I broke Friday or Saturday this week. But you can always find me if I'm not on by 9:30 the latest, then I'm not on. So you can always just go on my page, and if you see me being live, you give me a follow. But the best way to know if I'm live is to actually go on my page. because you know how Instagram does. So
yeah.
go on my page, see if I'm live. Typically by 9 o'clock sharp West Coast time on Instagram. You can catch me breaking some fun product and engaging in some awesome conversation with you guys out there.
No, Knocka, I'm appreciating your hoodie there.
Oh yeah.
Where'd you get that from?
Yeah. It's a Supreme hoodie from a few years ago. They did Martin Luther King hoodies, and so I've had this for a few years, and I think some kid came into my shop, wanted to sell it. They didn't want it anymore, and I bought it. I said, "Yeah, I'll keep this one."
Very nice.
So yeah.
So I think you got on. You saw the intro where I had people say that they're rolling with FD, and then we add them to the intro.
Okay.
So I can't have Knocka come through here and then not actually add you because I would like you to be involved. So Knocka, I got to ask you.
Yeah.
Who you rolling with?
We rolling with FD, baby.
I appreciate it. This is a very good conversation. I'm going to end up reaching out to you more often.
Yeah.
To have you on.
Cool. I'm always down to talk some sports, man. I love it. And I'm about to see. I'm about to relish in these Eagles losing tonight because
they don't look confident right now.
They're only down 7 points.
Yeah,
and
like come out here and get this win.
It seems like a pain for them to move the ball.
You think Hurt at the beginning of the game they were talking about his fingers, his tape. Is he messed up or something wrong with him?
You know what? I think Hurst has actually been playing hurt almost the past 2 years.
I think so.
You know, he wears that big flak jacket. It's almost like he doesn't wear normal shoulder pads if you ever see him. He wears like a big flak that goes
rib cartilage or cracked ribs.
There's some
like this guy is almost a young Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Like something wrong. He just throw the ball down the field.
And he won't say it because the type of player that he is, and you got to respect it. But honestly, I've been saying this since like last year, mid-season. I think it's kind of like when he got hit really hard or something happened, but he has not for a while been looking like the same person. He doesn't have the same explosiveness when he goes to run. It's not there, and you can really pick up on it. Yeah, sliding early. He's playing like very timid, and that comes out in your play.
I agree, because even in the Super Bowl, he didn't come out and try to light that thing up. And I still don't understand how you fumble the football and gingerly go for the ball on the ground. What is that, bro? I watched that replay over and over again. He's looking at the ball like, should I get that? Or what?
Yeah.
It was Super Bowl.
I think he's been playing hurt. So
I wish him the best, man.
I do too.
But I gotta ask the question though. If Luka doesn't win a Super Bowl, if Luka doesn't win an NBA championship,
okay,
and Patty Mahomes doesn't win another Super Bowl, there's gonna be some people that's like, Well,
I mean, you can't be if you're talking about some car collectors out there, right? I think with Patty, he's almost like, you got to say he's grandfathered in kind of at this point, right, FD?
But again,
I mean,
he'll only have 2 Super Bowls. A lot of people got 2 Super Bowls, Knocka.
I hear you. I get where you're coming from.
Let this thing play out with some of the stuff that people are just thinking is naturally going to occur because we're in that microwave generation right now. Does not actually happen.
Well, you know what? I think dang, that's crazy that you say that. With Luka, you're right. With Patty, I don't think that people are going to be in regret. It really depends on where they got involved, because a lot of the early Patty guys, maybe those early Patty guys, I know there's got to be some of them that have still held on since 2017.
Oh, I've met a few. That ball was backing up. He wasn't even playing yet, and they purchased and got in on Mahomes.
Now those guys are forever golden.
They're winning. No matter what happens, they're winning.
No matter what happens, those stories are stories I get chills to hear about because
that's right.
That's something that they're okay with. But with Luka, with the way that, and it's funny the way you analyze some card values. Sometimes you should do a lot more of the ones that be going to zero because it's as bad as it hurts. Sometimes it's funny because it's a very risky game if you play the prospecting game, right? And I think that it's something that we all already know. You know what you're getting involved in when you go prospecting. So you should already be diversified if you have even the slightest experience in the hobby.
Yep.
But yeah, with Luka, it could get really interesting.
It goes past these people. We can say Anthony Edwards. We can talk about Ja. It goes way beyond just Mahomes and Luka. There are a few guys running around out here. They don't show a shred of leadership. If anything, they show a lot of dysfunction off the court. You don't know what's going on with them.
Well, the market, what does it always do? It corrects itself. So, the thing is the shiny new toy thing, right? Like that's what the hobby is a lot of times. And, once you start to understand, what's happening, the phenomena of the shiny new toy, then you kind of learn your lesson a little bit. And it's always going to be fun to chase the rookies and get in early, right? It's something about it, but as you grow, which everybody should be growing in the way that they collect, you start to understand why you get a lot more of the OGs out there. Like, I just buy this, or I just do this, or, I don't break, or things of that nature. And so to each their own, but you play the game, you just got to know what the consequences are if you lose.
I think that's the best way to describe it and talk about it. But when I say some of this stuff, people are looking like, what are you talking about? Like you threw ice cold water in their face.
Well, look at Trevor Lawrence right now, FD.
I've said this about this guy.
It's funny that you said it because I've never said I've said it to myself. But I've always been like, they really want to make this guy their new Jesus. They want him to be the second coming of Christ so bad, and it's just not happening.
He's not that guy. He's not that guy.
He's not. And I just don't. I know he's so tall. He's strong. He's got the strong arm. And it's never those guys, though.
Nope.
When has it ever been like that dude? Like, that's why they try to push Josh Allen so bad. He's big. He's strong.
Do you think Josh Allen is that dude? I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
We're going to see. Tonight, he almost got it handed to him. So we're going to see. We're going to see how it goes.
Then red zone, he something about him being in the red zone and throwing the interception. Yeah, that will never sit right with me.
Something about that, throwing off his back foot when he's on the 15-yard line. Like, what are you doing, bro? I mean, he can put his head down and run, but guys from Wyoming, so I don't know. I don't know how many ballers.
They got a decent football team. They got a decent football team, man. They don't ever play nobody.
Like, man. Ballers come out of Wyoming.
Never,
ever. Knocka, it's been a pleasure talking to you, bro, all the time. I knew when I met you, I should have come to you earlier about this. I know this would be a great conversation. It was a pleasure meeting you in person. You talked about yourself being a people person. I could definitely see that. I witnessed that myself. The next time we're together, we'll do some stuff, man, have more fun, hang out a little bit more.
Oh yeah, man. Hopefully I catch you in Burbank.
Yeah, I'll be in contact with you before then.
Okay.
And, if you don't make it then, I'll be in contact with you before August. And if we ever make it up to, we went to a Fairfield show probably 2 years ago.
Okay.
If we make it back to one, I would definitely hit you up ahead of time.
All right, FD.
All right, tell your family that my family says hello to your family, bro.
Awesome, man. I definitely will.
All right. Knock, it's been a pleasure, sir. Thank you very much.
It's been awesome, man. We rolling.
We rolling, baby. I'll talk to you soon.
Peace.
Bye-bye. Y'all keep rolling out there, people. Don't stop. A lot more coming.